Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. We are now in season 4 with over 1,400 recordings that are viewed and heard around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very accomplished and senior professional from Essex, UK, Mutiat Adebowale. Mutiat, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you. Mutiat is a leadership and executive coach. And today, Mutiat, will speak coaching. So let me start by asking you that you work with female leaders to raise the bar within their organizations. What are some of the challenges female leaders face? And do share some examples.
Oh, challenges that female leaders face. Mm-hmm. So many. The fact that they're female is a challenge in itself. And this is because there are expectations from the fact that you're a female. Mm-hmm. There are things you should do. There are things you shouldn't do. There are ways you should do things. Mm-hmm. There are ways you should carry yourself. And being a leader, the way you're perceived, that is all mixed together. You being an individual female and you being a female professional female, and then you having a home and being a female there. So all of this. So one of the challenges would be confidence within the team. We work in a world where we're expected as leaders to be superhumans, to be high there and above and have all of the answers to the questions asked, to be able to deliver effectively, sometimes not to be able to show vulnerability. So challenges are many. So for one, confidence will be one, for you to put yourself together as an individual. Don't forget every leader, whether you're a female or male, you're an individual within you. So for you to be able to put yourself together, to put your thoughts together, to know how to communicate with confidence, communicate clearly, be a human and be a leader and have that confidence that steams your team to continue to move, to drive them. You have all of that as a female. So, having that togetherness, the confidence to drive a team, to drive an organization will be one of the challenges that a female leader will have. But apart from that, there's so many other ones.
Absolutely. Well said. Very well said. And what is the process you follow when you start a coaching relationship?
Oh, when I start a coaching relationship, I'd like to highlight that every coaching relationship is different and it's unique to the individual. So depending on the individual needs, I will use different techniques for them. After assessment, understanding where they're coming from, understanding where they want to go, what we want to achieve eventually, and understanding their learning patterns, the individual learning patterns, their styles of doing things. I will adapt different models. But one of the, most fundamental thing that I try to do with my clients is to get them ready inside and out. Usually coaching relationship is to have an outcome, you have a goal, you have a destination, a vision of where you want to be at a certain time, 6 months, 3 months, whatever. So to get them ready inside and out, it is enough for somebody to say, oh, I want to achieve this. I want to be a better leader, or I want to be able to bring my team, create unity, collaboration with them. We're okay doing that. But are you really ready to put in the work? Because the work is not just physical and it's not just your knowledge. You have to be ready from within. So I build their mindset. I let them see that, okay, this is what I want to do and I'm ready to do it. So I go through this model, quite quickly with them. And it's just my RIPE model. And then, and the RIPE, which is RIPE, the RIPE already is ready. And it's ripe. When a fruit is ripe, that means it's ready to be eaten. It's ready to be harvested. So you get yourself into that state that I am ripe for this. So, the outcome you want to achieve is that you want to achieve something good. So I am ripe to achieve this accomplishment. I'm ready to accomplish this goal. So we work with your mindset for you to get to that state so that, there will be obstacles, so that you will have that willingness to do other things that may help you get into that goal and to achieve the goal, even when there are obstacles. So I get them into the ready state, inside and outside.
Thank you. What a great response. And Mutiat, for my viewers and listeners, can you share one or two examples of the challenges you have addressed without giving any names, of course?
Oh, okay, one or two. Okay, let's go with one. I had a client who was working, well, I have so many clients working in a charity. So they're working in a charity. And they had somebody who was moving up as a senior team leader, wanted to go into a management role and applied internally. So there was a vacancy, applied internally. And when they applied internally, unfortunately for them, that was before they met me, but for them, they didn't go through. And what they were told during the interview was that they didn't have the essential leadership characteristics they needed to get that role. So they were searching for a coach to enhance their leadership traits, character skills, and then they met me on a portal. So we talked about it, and I addressed different things. I assessed them, where the individual was in a role, why she wanted to get that leadership role, and we assessed a lot of that. And then we worked together for 6 months. And I can tell you, before the end of 6 months, she already had a job. By the end of 6 months, in the 8th month, she had a much bigger role than the one she was declined. And then working on, because she wanted to work with me, she now works with the, an international organization. So it's just about unpacking what happened. Why did I not get the role? What's my own internal state in preparation for that role, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's one of the examples. If you want me to give you another example, there are so many examples.
Fascinating, very interesting. My next question is, I wanted to understand your background before you became a coach, and how has this background supported your own coaching philosophy?
Okay. So my background before, I studied originally mass communications, which is and I was in Nigeria as a broadcaster. So I actually worked as a broadcaster, radio broadcaster, but I was a very, very, very shy, timid person. I couldn't speak. I was good behind, and I chose radio because I liked radio, one, and two, because I didn't want telly. I didn't want the visibility. So I grew up as a shy girl. So people would say, "Oh, shy girl," that sort of thing. So it was after I was doing my radio broadcasting once I stepped out of the studio, I couldn't talk. I didn't have many friends. I was working, the first year I was working, I had an award, like, best promising staff, that sort of thing. I couldn't go on the stage to get it. I melted. So that's sort of where I came from. I didn't believe in. So when I got through coaching via writing, I used to write poetry and stories, and I had a Google blogspot and then the adverts that came on there showed me something coaching. And every time it showed me, so I clicked on it. What is this coaching? And that was back in 2005, thereabout. And I clicked on it one day and I read about it. I was like, oh. And because I was writing something personal development, but I didn't know there was coaching. So I went to an event anyway, there were free events, and then I saw people just like me who, was writing in the creative space and wanted to empower other people, because my writing was empowering people. And then I said, well, I can do this. So they were introducing themselves, going on stage. And I was like, wow, I can do this. But remember, I've always been a shy person. So that day, I think I tried once and it felt like, wow, this is heaven. I felt so accomplished. And then I went to another free event. And as I went, I learned more about coaching. I enrolled in coaching. I got coached myself. And that actually opened up a world of possibilities, for me. And because I came from that background, somebody who couldn't speak, who couldn't, have their voice, who didn't understand confidence, who didn't understand that being expressive, be able to understand myself and express myself would open the door for me. And I knew that, which is more of the reason I like to work more with women in professions, women to open up, to speak confidently, because I then went back to my days of broadcasting, and I said to myself, I think I missed a lot. If I had been more active, more expressive, perhaps some opportunities may not have slipped me by. So I said, okay, now that I know, I'm going to empower people, I'm going to help myself and do more, Yes, so that's
Very
where
interesting.
I actually came from.
Very interesting. And when you look at, your own life, we are always shaped by different kinds of experiences and people. I'd love to understand from you, how have some of the people in your life influenced you as a coach today?
People in my life influenced me as a coach today. Ooh. In so many ways, I could talk about my mother who can give endlessly without looking back. And I remember us saying to her, "You're just like, just giving." And she says, so that and now we all go back to say, wow, giving my mom lives in Nigeria. I've got 3 brothers. We're 4. So 2 of my brothers and myself are outside Nigeria. I've got a brother who's doing really well in Nigeria. And my mother never lacks nothing. Not the fact that she has people around her. That is because she's been giving out and then she's getting back. So for me, in my life, when you do coaching, it's not too much about the money. It's about helping other people, giving to them, and not just my coaching, I do have other charity stuff, but it helps me believe that in life, give more of yourself, even if it's ordinary friendship. Give yourself, give more of yourself, as in give of ourselves to other people, because it helps them to have a piece of you, and perhaps that may just suit them at that time. And it helps, and that is part of the philosophy that I use in my coaching. You want to give of yourself to other people, and somehow you're investing in them, investing in their life, in their success. Yes, I go with that.
Thank you. Great response. My next question to you, Mutiat, is, as a trained or a certified coach, what is the difference between mentoring and coaching?
Oh, mentoring and coaching. I like that. Okay, you see, coaching is a one type, is a focused kind of relationship where the person you're coaching has a goal to reach, has a destination they're going, and it has steps that you need to follow to get to that stage. Coaching has frameworks you need to follow for you to actually achieve the goals that you need. Mentoring is kind of like bringing somebody up, nurturing them. With regards to coaching, most of the time you want to allow them to open up, you give them the options, help them open up, help them dig a lot deeper so that they can bring the best of themselves out. They can think outside of the box, they can imagine, they can find their options and choose what's best for them. With mentoring, you're nurturing somebody. So sometimes you can give advice, you're nurturing them, you're bringing them up, you're watching them as they grow, you correct them when they make mistakes. In coaching, you don't do too much of that. You allow the person to open up their space and begin to realize, discover what's really hidden within, their powers and the resources you've helped them to achieve that. Yeah.
Very interesting. My next question is, about the female leaders. We've just come out of the pandemic. I wanted to ask you, how has the pandemic impacted women leaders?
In so many ways, we all saw what the pandemic has done to us. And there are new discoveries and new realizations for us as individuals, as women, as female professionals, that you then tend to like, wow, is this all to life? So part of the ways it has affected female leaders is, people really understanding that life is shorter than you think, and things can happen so unexpectedly. So what's more important to you is people then choosing what's more important to them, finding time to to be a lot more connected with themselves and what matters to them. If that is family, if that is, doing the best that I can do at work, that is in terms of your personal needs, finding ways to meet your personal needs as individual. And on the other hand, pandemic has helped us to understand that we need to constantly become dynamic in the ways we build our skills. Even as female leaders, the ways things change rapidly. So we're learning new skills. We're becoming more adaptable to things. People are trying to become more adaptable to things. Things are happening so spontaneously. So people are learning new skills. They are relearning and unlearning some things. They're bringing things to their life. We're working remotely. We're working, in hybrid situations. And we're adapting to that. We're empowering ourselves with more resilience tools so that we become more adaptable and susceptible to change. People are quickly accepting the fact that change is real. And how can we become, more adaptable, if not by learning new things, having new tools to work with, changing our mindsets, all of these things. So these are the ways that the pandemic has actually affected people. People are moving to having the time they didn't have with their family. So it's making us so more, a lot more mindful, which is why this time, I've seen more increase in people needing coaching, just so that they can adapt more. They can become more mindful, they can become more whole, they can lead from a place of soulful presence, whereby you look after your health, you look after your well-being, you look after your professional development, so you can become a whole person and you carry yourself, the whole of you, to work. And when you're going out of you are your whole self as well. So yeah, it's taught us a really big lesson.
Very, very interesting. My next question is, Mutiat, this is the age of the young leaders, the millennials, the Gen Zs. They're all coming into positions of leadership now in most of the corporate sectors. I want to get your perspective on how are the areas in which the millennial and the Gen Z women leaders need to be coached in.
Ooh. Areas they need to be coached in. It's there is a world of difference, in the things that we need to be. Yes, which is why coaching the millennials is quite different, from traditional coaching, and the areas you need to, just as I said before, that most women are learning new things, learning new skills. To the millennials, some of these new skills that people like me will be learning, say technology, would not be something you want to teach the millennials. That is part of them. That is how they have grown. Whereas things like adapting to change may be more traditional to people like me, or people a little bit older than me, because they know what change can be like. Millennials need to understand that spontaneously you have got to flick through at times of change. You've got to understand what change can look like, what change may look like. The feeling of entitlement does not stay in the professional arena. So you have got to know, what am I learning? What am I giving? What am I giving? What am I expecting back? So a lot of whole new skills and characteristics, traits that the millennials need to learn, what they need to be focusing on. It is not enough for us to have the knowledge, but, things like team building, collaboration within your team, becoming the leader of the people, the leader for the people. These are the things millennials need to be taught, and they need to grasp. Working as a team is a big thing. I remember, working in an organization, coaching them in an organization, and it wasn't so pleasant with regards to team members, because one of the young managers apparently came out with very good university grades, but it's not just the grades that you lead the team with. You don't lead the victim with the fact that you're just intelligent, you've got brains, and you've got these skills and expertise, but you need the cooperation of other people, the cohabilitation, how we can work together, collaboration, the communication with the team has to be seamless. So how to speak to your team, how to address them, how to bring in the unity that everybody belongs in this space, and then that, coach them on things that everybody has to be there for one another. Kind of using a stakeholder principle, whereby everybody within the team has a stake in the success of the other person. Well, I think that was what I used. Has a stake in the success of every other person. So we check in on one another, we coach one another. We not in a way that you're just peering into what your colleague is doing, but we are watching ourselves, we are coaching ourselves so that everybody develops at the same level. Everybody learns new skills. Everybody is there for one another. So when one member is succeeding and developing and doing well, the others. So you are checking. So you're doing kind of stakeholder coaching. So I have goals that my team members need to check for me. Am I meeting my goals? And then that sort of thing is what the millennial.
Wonderful.
Everybody has a stake in everybody else's development.
Absolutely.
And
well
can
said.
grow together.
Well said. And my last question to you, Mutiat, and this is for the many, many people who will listen to our conversation. What would you say are 3 lessons you want our viewers and listeners to take away from your amazing journey and from our conversation?
Hey, what I want 3 lessons I want people to take away from our conversation is every individual has the power to change the world.
Yeah.
Whether that's in your corner, you can change things for any other person. So you can change the world, because if you can help one person to either change in their profession, change in their marriage, change in the way they see life, and become more optimistic, then you have changed the world. Everybody has that tendency, has that potential to do that. So you can change the world. Remember what I said, that I was that person who couldn't speak. And what geared me up was after I started coaching, now seeing people get promoted, seeing people begin to live what they could live. I said to myself, if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't challenged myself, even if it's one person I've helped in the entire world, and probably the ripple effect of that going through their families, more income, encouraging their child and their sons, that goes a long way. So everybody has the potential of changing the world. Please do not keep yourself to yourself. You have a unique gift that no one else has, and it's only you that has it. So you shouldn't keep it to yourself. Think about other people depriving of your gift. So that is number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. And number 2, confidence is everything in anything that we do. The way we stand, the way we portray ourselves, the confidence within you opens up opportunities for you. Okay. And until you bring yourself up, one thing is accomplishment propels confidence, right? So do a little thing. For example, you want to walk down the stairs. If you don't take the first one, you're not going to likely take the second one, right? So just take the first one, and that propels your confidence. Oh, I did one, I can do. So accomplishment propels, and the little accomplishment you do pushes you forward. So try the one new thing today, and it propels your confidence, and then you can do more, and then you can open up the world, of opportunities for yourself. So that's number 2, confidence. That was one thing that held me back in life, and when I got it, I said, oh, thank you, God. And I'm using that, and to do better things, to help myself and help other people. And the third thing is always have faith in yourself, and have faith, around you. Have faith in the process, whatever process you're going through. Have faith. Faith. Even when you don't see it, just believe it. Once you can conceive it, you believe it. And when you believe it, the sky will open up for you. And those are the 3 things I want people to take away.
How wonderful. And on that note, and your 3 wonderful lessons, every individual can change the world. Confidence is everything. And always have faith in yourself. Mutiat, thank you so much for speaking to me. Thank you for talking to me about your journey, your coaching philosophies, your own background, and thank you for speaking to me. Good luck to you.
Thank you so very much. I'm most appreciative of you asking me to come on.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.